In English, understanding the order of where words should be placed in a sentence is one of the most important things you can learn when learning a new language. So, what's the right order? Grammar rules are like scientific laws. They are both just observations of certain phenomena. Take the law of gravity, for instance. You can observe something falling and make your own assumptions or statements about it, what is happening. You can also observe native speakers speaking the language or make assumptions about their use of the language. Well, today that is what we're talking about. We are going to be talking about 5 of the most important grammar rules you need to know to help you form sentences and speak more clearly in English. Number 1, sentence structure. Subject plus verb plus object. You may have seen this before, but what does it mean? This rule is used to help us more easily understand who is the actor in the situation and who is the receiver of that action. The person completing an action or the subject comes first. For example, the dog. The action or the verb comes next. Bit. Lastly, we have our object, or the person or thing that the action is happening to, the man. So now our sentence reads, the dog bit the man. If you changed any piece of the sentence, you would lose the entire meaning. For example, if you changed the object and the subject, then you would have a sentence that reads, the man bit the dog. And that would mean that the man was the one completing the action and actually taking a bite out of the dog. Like that. So that is not what we are trying to say, right? Unless that happened to be the case in some strange situation. So let's look at a different way. So let's say that we mix up our verb and our object. The man the dog bit. Is that a complete sentence? No, it is not. This is a clause because we do not have a final preposition or anything that tells us gives us more details. And if we did have a final preposition or more details on that, then this would be a complete sentence, okay? For example, the man the dog bit received stitches on his hand, right? That gives us enough information to make this a complete sentence. Number 2, subject-verb agreement. Just like friends need to get along, so do the subject and verb of a sentence. The subject, or who we're talking about in the sentence, and the verb, or the action that is happening in the sentence, need to agree. If there is one person or thing, we use a singular verb. If there is more than one person or thing, we use a plural verb. Now, not to be too confusing, but unlike nouns, the singular verb adds an S to the end of the word, and the plural verb doesn't. So, for example, a singular subject like he would be paired with a singular verb, laughs. A plural verb, on the other hand, is the basic simple form of the word without an S. For a plural subject, they, we would use the verb laugh. They laugh. All right, number 3, active voice versus passive voice. So in active voice, the subject is the one completing the action. This uses the typical sentence structure subject, verb, object. For example, someone stole my bike. Another example would be my tutor, subject, is helping, verb, me, object. In passive voice, we are basically just switching the subject with the object. So we're just switching those around. The subject is then being acted upon by the verb. For example, the sentence, someone stole my bike, now becomes, my bike was stolen by someone. To form a sentence in passive voice, you just need the helping verb be plus the past participle. So again, we could just say, my bike was stolen, or my bike was stolen by someone. If we changed, my tutor is helping me, we could switch that to say, I am being helped by my tutor. Number 4, choosing the correct pronoun. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun in a sentence. The noun that is replaced in the sentence is called the antecedent. When you are deciding to use a pronoun, it's important that you use the correct or complementary pronoun that goes with the noun. For example, I love my son because he is the best. The word he replaces the word son. So as the world changes, our language also changes and evolves. And these days, it's also okay for plural pronouns to be used to describe singular antecedents or the nouns that they replace, right? When you are talking about someone and you are unsure of their gender, or you are talking about both men and women. The rule used to be that you use the masculine pronoun or he, him, but things have changed and now we can use they. So for example, a person should start saving as soon as possible for their retirement. This brings me to the 5th and final tip of the day, direct speech versus reported speech. So reported speech is when you report what someone has said without directly quoting them. For example, if your friend told you, I am going to the store, you would say, my friend told me that she is going to the store. So to form reported speech, you usually need to change the verb tense and the pronoun. For instance, in the sentence that I just mentioned, I am going to the store changes to she is going to the store. The present tense am going changes to the past tense is going. And the first person pronoun I changes to the third person pronoun she. It's also important to note that you should pay attention to time words and phrases. So, for instance, if someone says something like tomorrow, later this week, next week, or something like this, then you need to adjust this time for when you are telling the story or when you are reporting what was said. So for example, if someone says, I'll see you tomorrow, then instead of saying tomorrow, you might say the next day. For example, he said he would see me the next day. All right, I hope these tips were helpful to help you better form a sentence in English. Please make sure that you're hitting the like button, Subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment down below of any type of video that you might like to see. All right, see you next time.